Hello, my name is David, and today the decision that I am currently making that I'm going to talk with you about today is my decision on whether to pursue a degree in law or psychology. I'm going to be analyzing this decision using the functional perspective on decision making from Hirakawa and Luran. Now, the goal of this process that they have designed, is to reach a high quality solution. The sub-goal of this method that I've identified is to describe and predict specific individual communication performances in accordance with the four requisite functions that are required for positive outcomes. An important note on this theory is whenever you are considering applying it to a situation, keep in mind its roots. Its roots are very objective since its sub-goal or secondary focus is to identify and predict future outcomes using a very cause and effect based outlook. So just a minor note. Now, my problem is complex. The four requisite functions are analysis of the problem, goal setting, identification of alternatives, and evaluation of positive and negative characteristics which will lead to the high quality decision. Now, I decided to add to the basic pathway that we have seen in our textbook and have my own version of it that you can see on the chart that I have right here. So, the top squares are the main pathways, right here. Now, the second row here is the secondary processes in circles, okay? And then the third layer are the critical concepts that should be applied when navigating the secondary processes and, of course, the main pathway. The first step is problem prediction and identification, right here. I decided to add this because before I analyze a current problem, I always try to preemptively solve it ahead of time using extensive prior planning, which is the secondary process right here. Using this method, I can attempt to avoid the problem altogether, which is avoidance right here, negotiate a preemptive solution down here, or establish a support network to utilize when I'm actively solving the problem later, right there. So to apply this to my field of study, I have identified it well in advance and decided that I cannot avoid it or preemptively negotiate it, and so I've set up my support network right here with my wife. The second step is problem analysis on the main pathway. Now you will see the secondary process is called critical vulnerabilities. What I do here is I try to find weaknesses in the problem that will make it easier to solve. All right. So, and I do this first by trying to find, I analyze the situation. I'll take into account the current and future situation I'll most likely find myself in. I identify my own personal strengths, center of gravity, that will be directly utilized during this analysis phase, and I will try to exploit these aspects that I've identified. So that's the exploitation part of it right there. So to apply this to my field of study decision, I have determined the critical vulnerabilities of this problem lie in its potential outcomes and future benefits. Going to law school would leave me in a much better position to provide for my family than getting a master's degree in psychology. My situation revolves around my family, although currently I have two kids that could be bigger in the future, so that's something I must consider when analyzing this problem. My center of gravity is my academic skills, determination in negotiating complex problems, and my wife's current career in law. These factors I can all exploit in analyzing and negotiating this problem. So those are the critical vulnerabilities, and these are all the different things I'm taking into account when doing problem analysis. Now I move on to the goal setting phase right here on the main pathway. When setting my goal, I must consider all aspects of a good goal. So that's the secondary processes, the aspects. So I must consider the psychological, social, physiological, emotional, and potential dissidence to myself and my family. Now these could all be outcomes of the goal or possibly potential future inputs that I must consider as well. This phase to me is the most complex because it will contribute the most to the success or failure of the outcome. And also, this wheel that you have right here you can go around it many, many times in order to continue to refine your goal. So in my field of study decision, I originally chose to pursue a bachelor's in psychology. Now I have adjusted to be a law and society degree. This will place me in a good position to go either into a career in psychology or law. My wife, which is the support network that I established in the first phase, with me went round and round this wheel to continue to fine-tune my goal and tweak it, which now I have set on getting a law and society degree from UC Riverside. The next phase is identification alternatives. So that's the next main pathway part, next phase. This is pretty self-explanatory. The only secondary process is determining whether these alternatives are only to potentially replace the current pathway or add to it. So that's pretty self-explanatory. So during this phase, I've determined that my alternatives have already been selected, and its design is to replace the overall direction. In this, I mean that my direction is towards a degree in the law, but I can easily replace it by continuing my education in psychology. So I've already taken this into account when analyzing my alternatives. The next phase is the evaluation of the decision. The decision's positive and negative qualities or pros and cons that I listed right here in the main pathway. The secondary processes are called redirect and capitalize. So what I mean by this is how can we capitalize on the positive qualities and redirect the negative qualities of this potential solution. For example, my current decision about my field of study, a negative quality of pursuing a career in law is the mental anguish of constant deadlines, and a positive quality is the extensive job market availability to me with this degree. So I could try and redirect the negative quality by using the process action right here. I could be constantly doing this over and over again to help me negotiate my schedule conflicts, etc. And try to capitalize on the positive quality by owning my own law firm or marketing my skills as a contractor to multiple firms to obtain max revenue for my family. The final phase of action is the high quality decision right here in the main pathway. At this point, we'll have made our decision, but we are not done yet because we have to be constantly reassessing and readjusting up here, readjusting based on how our environment or situation changes. The problem itself might adjust, or even our support network might reposition itself with other obligations and time commitments. So if readjustment is necessary, right here after we reassess, it will most likely require us to perform this process again at the problem analysis phase. So it could redirect us back to the second phase on the main pathway. If the problem still remains the same, but we desire a better outcome, potentially we could just go back to the goal setting phase and then continue on from there. So at this point in my decision, I have decided that I will go with law school. But the decision is not yet made. I will continue to reassess and readjust as I re-examine it and conduct this process back here to get me the best possible outcome using my current situation and all these other factors that I have listed. So thank you for listening and have a good day.